Why didn't we just try to hold on one more time? You maybe think that I don't care, but the tears are falling down. I can't.
Come on, man.
What difference will the academy status mean to you?
What were the...
Academy status?
Well, it's changing. For the last 10 years we've had academies and centre of excellences. The Premier League this year put, they wanted to have more say in regards to youth development. Premier League now, when it used to be the Football Association, but the Premier League just now want to have more of a say in development of young players, so they're going to categorise it different now. So we're going to have Cat 1, Cat 2 and Cat 3 and Cat 4. And basically it comes down to the money. If I'm going to be honest, if you're a Cat 1 club, their investment at the football club is going to be in excess of $4.5 million the club's going to have to put into its youth as its input. And then the Cat 2 club will have to put in something like 2 million odd, and a Cat 3 club will be having to put in somewhere around about 300,000. And then Cat 4, there's minimal input, but you can't sign players until they're 16. Where all the other categories we can sign from under 9s up. Ironically, there's not one club at the moment I don't think that's in Cat 1. Because everyone's looking at it, it's just staffing and completely revamping it. I think the academy system works, and I think when we're looking to go academy, it means that you get better recruitment, you get a better games program. But like I said, now this year is a pilot year and they're changing it all around and redoing it. So we're in the process now of just trying to work out where we're going to sit, either be a Cat 2 or a Cat 3. But it shouldn't affect us too much because we've been a successful youth policy, and what they're trying to do is weed out the ones that are not using the money in the right way.
David,
Yeah. Is it harder to be a professional footballer today than it used to be? Because everything's relevant to the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the education thing, obviously that in the old days you either made it or then you got scrapped. And how does the other club syndrome change somebody's view of everything? Because obviously in Kane's position, I'm sure he knows, because everybody reads various things, that what is the position? Can clubs approach you?
No, they can approach the football club.
Right.
I'll see it now, we've sold an under 9 last year to a Premier League club. We sold an under 12 and under 14 and an under 9 to another Premier League club. The problem you have that window, they call it a window of opportunity. When they register for us, at the end of each, I think it's under 9, under 10, under 11, they're 1 year registrations, 12 to 14 are 2 year registrations, 14 to 16 are 2 year. But each time at the end of their registration they have a 2-week window of opportunity, and in that window of opportunity they can trial anywhere else they want. But then if that club wants to buy them and we've made them an offer to come back, and that club, they go to say, like, so we made Kane an offer when he was 13, and we wanted him, but in that 2-week window he went off to Arsenal and trained with them and he really wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Arsenal would have to compensate us.
They would.
Yeah.
The compensation thing is still relevant.
Yeah, it's still relevant.
Yeah, because I know it was if somebody was, it's a bit like when they have the freedom of contract, they're out.
Yeah, no, all those, even if a boy left on the scholarship, come in, said to me, I don't want to be it's not for me being a scholar here. We don't just let him go because that could be construed that he's been tapped up by another club.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So we put him on a form that's registered with the Football League, and I think it's up to his 18th birthday we can still claim compensation on it.
Right. And how's it?
It's worked out, at the moment it's worked out over, you get 1,500, the bottom line is 1,500 finder's fee, 1,500 towards his training time, and then it's calculated over the years that he's been with you. But you tend to find clubs, most clubs are a bit sensible. We've done, obviously we just sold Dominic Coyle, so when we sat down with Wolves, I mean, we would never accept, at the time, what was it, 14, 15, 16, £9,000. There's no way I'd accept £9,000 for Dominic Coyle. And the clubs know we'd go to tribunal with that. And then there's a committee that's set up. Now some clubs, especially Premier League clubs, don't go to tribunal. They'd rather settle with you than go tribunal because you walk in that room, that's 3 blokes sitting there. You can walk in and you value him, we value him at 200 grand. They don't want to pay that, they're willing to pay 100 grand. The tribunal can rule that they've got to give us 600,000. I mean, there was a club, I think, that got hammered on it. It was Leeds, I think. Went from Leeds to Everton, and Everton ended up paying 650,000 for a kid.
Plus Leeds have been accused of
Doing the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go tribunal. So you just got to be strong in what you're doing. You know, the boys stance. We've had it here. I mean, you know, Michael Magoo, who we had in his final year, he got an opportunity. Obviously, Man United were really pushing for him. And of course, the kid wants to play at the best level. Like I said, I'm sure Kane was saying, an opportunity comes and there's a chance to go and play. The difference is there's no good going to Chelsea and sitting in the reserves for 3 years. You want to go to a club where you can play. His next step would be to move to a club to play. Michael, it was an opportunity to go to a club like Man United, and we couldn't agree a fee with Man United. And in the end, Liverpool nicked in, and the fee that they offered was what we was looking for. He went up, he loved Liverpool, and that was it, he signed. But I mean, United put in 3 offers for him, and we went, no, we'll go tribunal. And they said, well, we won't come back. So don't come back then. The kid was distraught, I'm going to lose out. I said, you won't, because you'll still come to South. You've still got the same scholarship that they've got at Manchester United.
Yeah.
But if you're that good, someone else will come in for you.
Would it be harder to make it there? Because obviously...
No, he's a talented player. If you take the farm and the club pays money for a kid, they've done their own work. And you don't see many of them not go through, or if they don't make it at the club that buys them, you'll certainly see that in the future they'll sell them on to another club and recoup most of their money.
Just looking at the player that played in the Liverpool Youth Cup match.
Yeah.
I mean, from the first time he got the ball, you're looking at him and thinking, his feet, I mean, it's amazing. Ronaldo having quick feet, and he had really quick feet, and in that somebody said, well, you know, he's going to cost them 5 million.
Ryan Sterling, that was.
Yeah.
He was at QPR, and I spoke to QPR when he left. They did everything they could to keep him. They did everything. They offered him everything to keep him. And at the end of the day, it wasn't going to happen. But everything they offered him helps when you sit down with a club and look at the tribunal. The more that you offer, the bigger the offer, the more you commit as a club to him, the better it is financially for you in terms of your compensation.
Yeah.
So Ryan, again, he went to Liverpool, look, he's flying, isn't he? Michael Magoo, we get on great. Michael actually come down to Derby to watch us play at Derby. He come in the dressing room and when wished all the boys well done. He gave me his England shirt because he played for England's under-19s and signed it. So that's hung up on the wall at home, which is fantastic. He's now been selected for the under-20s to go out and play in the World Cup, and he's playing regularly in the reserves. I think he's been getting games. So Michael's doing great at Liverpool, you know. And good luck to him. The more he plays, the better it is for us. Because every time he plays, every time he gets a game, there's bits in his contract that will benefit from that. And in the future, if they're selling, this football club will benefit in the years to come.
How does Kane feel about it when he reads? You know, obviously, you know, we all read about Forest, Ipswich, I believe, were interested in you. I mean, obviously they have to go through the football club, but do you take a step back and think, well, now maybe I'll stay here for another 2 years, 4 years, whatever you decide to do?
Yeah.
Or would you just concentrate that you want to stay at this club? Because it must be quite, you know, daunting to think, well, I could go and play for them, probably get a bit more money, I might not be a footballer for the rest of my life. Must be an easy thing to do.
Yeah, you're right, it's easy to get carried away and all that, you know, like the big clubs and that, there must be more money involved. But at the end of the day, I think like about a career. So obviously there's more chance of playing at Southend than say Ipswich or Nottingham Forest. So I'm trying to think about how I can develop better. And if that's why I play in first league football, then you know, so yeah. Phil?
Question Ricky. The only benefit maybe of being delegated in the current financial position is obviously to allow a few of your boys to come through.
Yeah.
Going back a couple of years ago, because we were playing the Highlands, it was obviously difficult to see Tills and maybe to properly them in or whatever. And I think we may have, obviously, there's a couple of players that kind of stood out, but they kind of disappeared, although one not leaves made for Lowestoft now, there's not many goals in it. And that's Jamie Forsham.
Yeah, Jamie, yeah.
Now, to me, I thought he was one. If he was here now, if he was like Kane's age, I think he would perhaps be on the bench. Also, David Crowley is one that I think, for me, he's gone missing somewhere.
We went out to Spain, didn't we, David?
Did he?
Yeah,
I mean,
he played for
big
Granada.
understanding.
I didn't lose track of him. He went out to Spain, played for Granada out in Spain.
Oh, he played
He got a contract with a Spanish club for a bit as well, David.
Yeah.
He lives in Harlow, so I know a lot about that.
So he's still in football, is he?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're still in football, yeah. Joe Welsh, who we had here.
He's just signed for someone, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
he signed for Stevenage.
Yeah.
You know, the year that we won the league, the youth league, we only took one player out of that squad.
Which
was
was
Craig
Craig
Calvert.
Braintree, is he one?
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
we only took the one, and the rest all got released. Nathan McDonald got released, and he now plays for Braintree.
Yeah.
And he got England called up for the non-league set-up as well. And Joe Welsh obviously got released. You're going to let players go.
I think before, I mean, when you spoke earlier, you said as soon as they cut, if they do get released, it's probably unlikely they're going to be called back.
Yeah.
But you think the big lot of Forshaw, if he's playing in goals, he might be maybe a shout down there.
Yeah, I mean,
That
Jamie,
now.
he was a decent young player. Do you know what I mean, I think we did literally just come back to this club, and the problem we had when we first came back in was to actually start saying that we could produce our own players. I think the consensus around talking to fans, we hadn't produced a lot with the youth. So it was basically breaking down a lot of barriers to say that we can produce players, given time, get the right staff, we can get players through that are good enough to play. And you're right, you know, opportunities coming on. Kane maybe, again, has got an opportunity in the team when there was injuries and he got thrown in at centre mid. And I always say to the players, you never know when an opportunity is going to come along. You've got to be ready to take that opportunity. And I'd say with Jamie Forshaw, yeah, if he was here now, Jamie, would he step out there and do a job? Yeah, I suppose he would. You know, when I look at Jamie, he was quite an exciting young player, and he was unlucky not to get anything. But at the time, I don't know if he was going up
I
to
think
the
the
championship.
championship level, or at least first
And
division,
Steve was looking
maybe.
then, yeah, Steve was obviously looking
It's a
to
big
go
ask
up in the championship. But then that's my argument was, yeah, but don't look at that. We should have kept them on and
Yeah.
kept developing our players. We've done that now. We've got a thing called the development squad, and a lot of clubs are doing it now, where they're keeping players from 18 to 21 and then making them up
Yeah.
final decision. If you find that the bigger clubs that have got more finances, they'll run a complete reserve squad of 20 odd players.
I
That's
think it's a
made
bit of
up
a
for us.
throwback to the 60s when people could,
Yeah.
we used to have a reserve team that ran
Yeah.
independently from first team.
First team.
People would be 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, we went to Brighton. I mean, we went up and played Brighton the other week, and we're playing the youth team, and there was 20 players training. I said, what's that? They said, oh, that's the development reserve squad.
Yeah.
And then there was 20 players with the first team training. That's the sort of, but it's you
Maybe
carry
good
40 odd
company.
players. It's a lot of players.
It's not a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And then culture still feeling that.
Yeah, it takes its pinch. I think you just, if we keep it the way we're keeping it, it's going to give players like Kane. And we've got a boy called Jack Bridge, who we've just offered a scholarship to as an under 15 centre midfield player. He's a fantastic little midfielder. And if it stays like this, he can see there's going to be a pathway through. So Jack Bridge is already attracting attention from Premiership clubs. But he's now saying, well, he's seen Kane play, seen Alex play. There's a pathway to the first team. Kids ain't stupid. If they can't see a pathway to that first team, they ain't staying here.
The Della Hurley player we saw in the youth,
Yeah.
he come on late in that game.
Listen, yeah, Larkin, I mean, Lark's had opportunities to go.
I like his show, as long as he does it.
Yeah.
Right in.
No, right, yeah, but
Please
he's done it
encourage
the
that.
last two games. He scored 2 on Saturday and he
Yeah.
scored 1 the other week. And
Please don't close that out.
no. The only problem is he does it sometimes an hour 18 yards.
Well, yeah,
which
no,
is
not
not
his
good
own
for me.
fault.
But
He
he's
does it like that.
he's an exciting player. Listen, Noel was attracting masses of attention, but he decided to stay and he signed a contract because he sees there's an opportunity to go there. So all him and his mum ask is when is he going to play in the first team?
It's only 15.
Yeah, you've got to step up to the plate, but he don't see it like that. See, Niall's got a mentality that I'm not 15, I'm a player. And no different, I'm not being funny. We're sitting here, he's a second year scholar. You could say, Billy, he's had, what would we say, he just had 14, 15 games, you just say. Quite a long time. 17, 18 games. He wouldn't see himself when he's sitting down, he wouldn't see himself as an 18-year-old, he just sees himself as a footballer who's good enough to play. He now knows he's good enough to play good football. The thing is he wants to play League One, Championship, Premiership. Sooner or later he has to find out if he's good enough.
Gary, did you find it difficult in the early years suffering with the Dave Webb legacy of not wanting a youth team and picking up rejects from higher up. Did that make the first couple of years difficult?
Yeah, no, I left Dave when David took over. He had again, he came in at a time when the club was going through something. It was not a financial structure again, wasn't it? And he was trimming back a lot. I'll never forget. We had 18 scholarships, and he said I could only offer 3, which I couldn't understand. But at the time, it was just finances. We just didn't have the money to run a youth policy the way maybe you need to run it. I mean, you can play youth football and just run it for the sake of a public sort of relation, thinking that we're still in youth, or you can actually do it properly.
Yeah, team service, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, David believed in, I think if David was here now, he didn't believe in under 9s, 10s. He couldn't understand that. He felt that they should all be playing with their mates and enjoying their football till they were 14, and then at 14 picking them up then. But what? It was right when David was a player, I suppose then it was like that. But now I said to him, if we wait till 14, half the other clubs are signing them at under 9.
Yeah.
So all we're getting is the ones that are not good enough. So we have to be in it. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. We run under 8s. We started to run under 8s because Premier League clubs were nipping into our area. So we've started to run under 8s. So what are the Premier League clubs doing? Running under 7s. It won't be long before a woman's 9 there. And it's a boy and it's going to be, well, we'll give you £1,000 now. Where do you draw the line? If we now go down to under 7, then they're going to go under 6. Everyone's scrambling to make sure they get the best players. Everyone knows now that youth football's taking a turn now, especially with the recession. The best way to go is produce your own. Because you can't financially go out and keep buying players. And we're not a club that's going to... I don't think the philosophy here now is changed as well. I think the board of directors and that they see it's, people like Kane have gone on there. Frank Musa was one of maybe the first that established himself. A shame that we can do it. We can produce our own. And I think as long as you show that, and we keep doing that, it's got to be better for the club. Because like I said, he's been here since he's 13 years old. This is his club. And I'm sure he'll sit there and say that. And it ain't me just talking. He pulls the shirt on, he's been pulling that shirt on for 5 years. It's his football club. It's a different mentality for him. This is where he's been. It's where he's come all the time. We keep buying players, they're coming in because they get a good way to play. You want people with a bit of heart that want to be out on that pitch. And that's what we're going to need over the next few years, I think.
Has Tara made much difference to you? Not personally, just...
No, Tara's he's come in and so obviously he's not been in this business before, and I think he's finding his feet. But he likes to know. I mean, he likes to know the ins and outs. He makes good judgment. If you give a good answer and you do something that's logic, he'll take it on board. He listens to that and he's a supporter of it. He's told me he's going to support it. I believe him. He sees the value in it.
Yeah, I guess my view is that's exactly right. He sees a value in that whatever you're doing has a value at the moment in time. Whether you're producing a good guy, that's worth more. Whereas I think Ron's a bit more emotional about it. I think he likes the idea, whereas Tara's looking at the figures.
No, Ron looks at the figures. But Ron was the one that really supported it from the day one. When I come back...
Well, I think he wanted it to happen, didn't he? That's my point.
He wanted it, yeah.
Whereas Tara, I think...
He sees it, yeah. Ron wants it to happen, and Ron knows the value of it. And he knew when I spoke to him, we set up this 5-year plan, we sat together, and we discussed what we'd do over the next 5 years. And I said the input from the football club's going to have to increase each year up to a figure. But in that time I said we'll have to sell players. I know I get some stick sometimes. I listen to fans and they say, we keep selling the best ones, but we don't. Kane's sitting here, we didn't sell Kane. And if I remember rightly, we had a football club look at you in your first year, and you actually said to me you didn't want to go. When I spoke to you a couple of times, he was quite happy to stay, you weren't interested. But I said to Ron that along the way we'll have to sell players, and Ron don't like selling them. Ron don't want to sell them. I'll tell you that now, he doesn't. He sits there and you have to push to make him sell a player. Because he wants them to come through.
When do the agents get
As soon as they see they're good enough, they're in.
So, have you got an agent?
Yeah.
How did you get that agent? Was it a mate, someone's, or did someone knock on your door? I mean,
He's Rick's agent as well, so he was in and around the club a lot, and yeah, just started talking to him from there. Really.
Agents, I'm very sceptical of agents. I mean, how I met the agent he's got, how I met him was when we sold February and Uber to Everton. He rang me up and he was brokering the deal for Everton. And we had a massive hour on the phone. And to be honest, I abused him for about 45 minutes. I just see him as a bloke who's just jumping on the bandwagon and going to pick up about 25, 30 grand on a deal that was already done. But he's actually, you know, he's coming and he's not like that. Yeah, he wants to make his money. He could have made Kane hold out forever to the summer and not sign that deal and said, let's just sit and see what happens. Because he'd be good enough to get a League Two club anywhere now. There's no one who wouldn't give him a contract to that level. But he wasn't. He was committed to him signing for Southend United. And that's what's happened. But the boys get picked up on when we've had, they can't sign him, you see, until they're 16. On their 16th birthday. So an agent can pick a boy up at 14. And we've had agents, like Michael McGill's agent, was running him and his mum everywhere from the age of 14, running me 16, he signed from the agent he's got. So that bloke done all the work and he went and signed for his wife. So they do get a bit of a rough ride as well. But they're in the game now. You know, they can be good for you and they can be bad for you. But they're in it. You have to learn to deal with them. And like I said, every home game, I'm sure people that come watch games, there's agents at every one of our home games at under 18s. Our under 16s played at home on Saturday, and there's agents at Premier League clubs standing. You can't stop them. All you've got to do is make sure that they understand that this is a good club. And we'll do everything for them to get them through. And as long as we do that, and when the time is right, I won't hold back. If an offer comes in for a kid, I'll tell him. Because I think if you lie to them once, that's it, it's finished. So we don't, but again, like I said, Ron, it's hard to get Ron to sell him. I sometimes have to sit and say, look, it's good for us, it's good for the kid. He asked me once, what's the ultimate for me? And I said 11 homegrown players.
Yeah.
That you couldn't get better than that, could you? You sit up there as I'll be tired. If we had 11 on the pitch, I think I'd watch that 90 minutes of football, shake his hand and walk out because I can't do it anymore. That would be the ultimate, you know. And I think the more we get out there, the better. I understand we have to bring players in. Don't get me wrong. We have to buy players. We have to bring players in, but we mustn't bring players in that are. You look at someone like Kane. If we brought a midfielder in this summer and he hadn't played, that could have stopped him playing and progressing, and we would have lost him. So we have to have a balance.
Did we get lucky? In some ways, it came in lucky because of the financial situation, or is Paul just a bit more?
No, I think he like Frank, when Frank come through, you can see straight away that at that age, they're good enough. They're very rare. 18-year-olds
Sure.
can step in there week in, week out and play. It's a rare one. And you have to make sure that you pick one of them up every now and then.
Yeah, sorry, Kane, I didn't mean to be rude out. I mean, just in terms of, because we can't just go and get those other players. You know, it's quite clear he's been making a match a couple of times, in my opinion, quite clearly, which has been great. But Frank struggled for a while to get in, didn't he? That hasn't really happened, Kane. He was on the pitch first time. He looked like he was going to do it. But if the money was better, winning on the loan, winning on Steve was done.
Oh, Steve liked it. Steve liked. He was a supporter of the youth, Steve. He would support it, but I think Steve always liked to think that they would come through into the team at 20.
Right.
2021, they go out on loan, develop, and at the time when Steve was there, we was championship. So, you know, when we were coming up with the youth and I was coming there, that was a big ask to find a kid to go in a championship. But he was still giving out contracts. We're still taking players on like Frank and Charles and Joel Ledger all got contracts, and he was still, he's still giving out the contracts then. But we couldn't get him in because they need to go out on loan, like a lot of clubs do. Tottenham, they don't let their second-year scholars go and play in the Ryman Prem. One of their boys is playing there now at Harlem, and he's a second-year scholar at Spurs to give him that. You know, if he was here as a 17-year-old, he might be playing in our first team. And that's what Kane sort of said. He sees the opportunity to play first team football here at League 2 level, which I think is a benefit of him as a player, developing.
Well, we know, I mean, ultimately, it's great, but you want to get rich or get something we all do, don't we? But, you know, as a footballer, there's an opportunity. So, you know, we're in reality, how long are you going to be? I mean, you know, we know if someone comes in and offers a lot of money, you go, it's obvious, isn't it? But in reality?
So no, it depends really, not just, you know, sure the money might be great enough, but I'm a person who likes to be in and around where I'm from. So like a move up north wouldn't be, you know, my priority.
So it's not just that.
It's not just the money or anything, yeah. I have to take everything into consideration.
He's very concerned about his development. I'll say that for him. He's always concerned. That's why we had the one-to-ones and we had the ups and downs. And he's always about his development. And if his development's struggling, then you've got to have some answers. And he has to have answers himself. And whenever I spoke to him, it's about just developing himself as a player as much as he can. He's still only 18. He knows, you know, if he can develop and keep doing it here, he knows. Eventually, we all know someone like himself, 18. If he has a season next year like he's had now, the reality is, if the club didn't progress up another level, and there was an opportunity to maybe go to a championship club that was going to give him regular first team football, he'd be an idiot not to take it. I know people like me say, but he would. But it's only if it was right for him, and also it's got to be right for this football club, which I pretty much understand. Just because he wants to go, don't mean he's going to go. If it ain't right for the club, he signed a contract to be here. He knows the consequences. It ain't right for the football club. He ain't going nowhere.
I think that's all I can understand about Stuart and Keith going, especially the Palace, because I mean, I think Palace obviously wasn't going to get many games. Yeah, I think he'd have probably held his own in this team, this current team.
He would have. I think Stuart, though, there was a lot gone under the bridge with Stuart. I mean, he'd forced his way, and I think he made his debut at Leeds. And I think away at Leeds, and we lost 2-0. And I thought he got an 8 or 9, and he came on and everyone was raving about him. Then he didn't play another first team game, literally a year to the day, against Leeds, ironically. So he didn't, you know, he made his debut, played well, got rave reviews, and then never got another opportunity for a year. And he was always a fringe, travelling, never really got an opportunity. For whatever reason, you know, at the end of the day, when you're a manager, you have to pick the team that you think's going to win a game. And he just felt, and then with all that had gone on, and in the summer, his dad himself, he just thought it was time for a clean break, go and get his head right. And he's gone to Palace. I keep in touch with Dean Austin, I speak to him a lot about Stuart, and they're developing him, but they're hoping that next season he's got to push on. Where Frank went to Leicester, was playing in a few games, doing all right, change of management, Sven coming out to Don, where was it? I think it's Doncaster. And he's gone on loan.
But he has
He's
signed
still been offered a
a
2-year contract. He was intrigued, because he was a boy that had experience, and he could have. I mean, I think Frank's a good player. He don't track well enough, and I watched him the other day on the team, and I don't think he tracks well enough at times. But he's starting to score a few goals, and I think Frank will come on and have a decent career in football.
Right.
Kane, what was it like making your singing debut in the first away game of the first team? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a good experience, obviously. Like, we weren't really expecting it, if I'm honest, because obviously, like, the chance came through, you know, someone else being injured, which was Andy Grant, and you know, I'm expecting a midfielder to go in. It was only the day before, really, which was New Year's Eve, and I just thought, yeah, I'll give it a go in midfield. Didn't know how it would go at the time. Could have gone either way, but luckily it was a decent game.
Good. And you had to sing before the game, did you?
No, because you sing the first time like you travel with the squad, so
Yeah.
obviously I've been on the bench and that before. But yeah, got the singing out the way.
What did you sing? What did you sing?
Sexy Love by Neil.
Gary.
What's the difference between the first team training and and Ricky's? Is Ricky's more development based and the first team more about just ticking over?
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, we even had that chat earlier on. Like in small-sided games, if something's not right, then Rick would try to stop it, coach, and you'd hope he wouldn't do that again. But in the first team, is if you do that wrong, you get told off for it. But like, it's not coached.
Oh yeah,
They'll say you're better than that, or
you're told what you've done wrong, but you're not told how to put it right.
Yeah.
So obviously you're training with the first team now. You still go back to Rick for development issues?
I can always go back to him and talk to him. Obviously, I'm always knocking his door and ask. But I haven't trained with the youth team for a while, so obviously I've missed his techniques and stuff. But,
As well, we can give it.
yeah, it's quite a bit of a difference.
More strength?
Yeah, it's a lot more faster as well. Like the way the passes are fizzed in and that, you're expected, your touch has got to be spot on. Otherwise, that ball is nipped away from you. So yeah.
We've got players who can nick the ball away.
Sauce.
Yeah. All don't.
So it's like I said earlier, it's a pyramid, isn't it? And what he's now playing with is what supposedly the equivalent of what we can get at a football club at the moment. So he's in at the top pyramid. So it does get more high intensity training, sharper, quicker. Where youth football, we've got 16 and 18 year olds in their development. So much different. When he gets over there, it's expected to stay up that high. And if it doesn't, they have a go at each other. It's a different style of coaching. There you're coaching to win games, and you're coaching to make sure you keep them switched on, and you're coaching to get physically up for it. Where at youth, you're coaching to development, technique, right side, safe side. I've said that to him so many times, he must be fed up. Finding space, and so it's completely different, two different streams of coaching.
Yeah, you're teaching them to play.
Yeah.
You're teaching them to play football.
Yeah.
And the first team teaching with games. Yeah.
Alan.
When you, the first goal you scored in the season was a bit of a scrappy affair, but the one you scored on Friday was an absolutely brilliant header goal. And how did you feel like putting it in the net? I think you felt absolutely elated.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as I've already said, it wasn't my greatest game, so I was happy to have scored. But getting on the end of it, I was just so happy it was coming right to my path. I just thought I'm going to take a chance there. And luckily, the midfielder had been tracking the whole game, hadn't come with me, so I thought I got a chance there. And luckily, it come to me.
Yeah, it's a cracking goal from there down.
He's always told me he's a centre forward. That's the truth. That is the truth. In training, he used to stop training and say, "Man, just stick me up front, because I'm telling you I'm a centre forward." I used to say to him, "Son off, back down." He's ended up in the middle, so he's creeping up to where he really wants to be, I think. But he has always said that, truth or not.
Yeah.
He's always said he's felt he's got a knack for scoring. He thinks if he's further up the park, he'll score goals. He really does feel he's a centre forward. I think it's great, he can play three positions.
Kane, we've heard about the physical side of the game, the difference between youth and first team football.
Yeah.
Do you ever get some of the more experienced players you have to play against trying to sort of mentally outsight you and wind you up? And
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That could be the case sometimes, but luckily we've got good bunch of lads, and that they wouldn't think they'd do that to me. They're really nice. They'd encourage you if you're having going through a bad period or anything.
Yeah.
I've got experienced players like Chris Barker, and he's always helped me through. Spoke to me a lot during games because he's behind me and that. So no problem.
What about the other team?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Get the opposition doing
That's
it.
what you meant, really.
Yeah, was it? They tried, but no, it's not. I'm not there to phase me.
As you can see, he's the most laid-back person.
You just can't tell Bill, do you?
Yeah.
So Bill,
Just go and tell Bill that him do it. Because he's a touch easier to wind up, isn't he?
that's a good.
Alison.
Yeah, this one's really for you, Ricky, because I only have daughters, I haven't got sons, but I would have entrusted my sons to you, to the development on your presentation and the 5-year plan and the whole package that you're developing in the boys. and chasing the dream. But we all know that dream is short-lived, and that football is a career that doesn't go on as a player forever. Is there something in that package about what happens to young players when they start to reach their 30s, heading towards their 40s, about where life goes after that for them?
Yeah, the MVQ part of the programme is all about life skills. A lot of the MVQ is about life skills. What are you going to do after? Setting up their bank accounts, setting up this, setting up insurances, where people come in to talk to them about pensions in the future, what they're going to do with that in terms of how they invest their money. Also, the agent has a responsibility. His agent will sit down with him, no doubt, in the summer, look at his finances and suggest he puts some of his money into certain areas. So they get coached on that all the time. And the MVQ that's the main part of what that's about. Over that 2 years is really to give them a bit of grounding on what they should be looking to do. Because it could end tomorrow, it could end at 30. Where you're going to go, what's your next career move? I'm sure that's part of one of the modules, right, in the MVQ, what's your next career? If you wasn't going to be, they ask me if you're not a footballer, what you're going to be, and some of the things you get written up, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What they think is a career, and then you have to sit with them and keep guiding them. But they only live for now.
Of course, that's why I wondered if it was part of the
So we do put it in there. We can only go so far over the 2 years, and like I said to Kane now, he's over with the first team, he's off doing his own thing, he's now earning a decent living for his age, and he's just got to be a sensible lad, and he's got good parenting, he's got people around him that are good, so I don't think he'll have any problems.
That's it, at 18 we're all going to live forever. I don't feel like
They
that's
think
much
they're going to play
there.
forever until all of a sudden he catches up. But if he's got good people, like I said, he's got a good agent around him and good support from this football club while he's here. I don't see a problem. We do talk to him all the time. I mean, that's where Tara has come in. Tara's looked at a few of the contracts some of the boys are signed with certain agents, and he's now talking to those agents because some of the contracts are a little tight. Dad doesn't really understand it, still sees the agent saying, but I'll get you this, I'll do you that. And all of a sudden we've looked at a few of them and they've signed them without sort of speaking to me, and then it ain't a good contract. So Tara's been looking at a couple of the boys that have been caught out a little bit, and he's now trying to help them there.
Thank you.
James.
How hard is it to convince players like Kane to sign on with us with off-the-field problems, particularly last year? It can't be an easy sell, even to say the players and the parents, because the headlines we get as a club aren't about what you do, it's about the other crap off the field, which has been headline news for the last year or so.
Facebook's one of the best things ever invented for football. We've got, in terms of within the football community now, as a youth development programme, a lot of clubs respect what we do. And you will tell yourself, a lot of the younger players talk to each other all the time. They know everybody who's playing. They've played against each other at district level, and they've all progressed on. And so they talk, and they're the biggest recruitment tool, because they go back and tell their mate, "Oh, come here, it's a great policy." The name of the club's got around as a youth policy. We've got a fantastic name across Europe now. We get invited to tournaments. We're going on a tournament this weekend. An American guy rang us up. I'm in France doing a tournament. Your name's come up as a club that are playing. Would you like to come over? It's all paid for. Bring over a team. So Luke Bob's got a 15-hour bus drive with a bunch of kids this weekend. But it's a free tournament, and because we've built up a great, credible name. People in football, mums and dads, they listen and they know. And when boys get released, we've had a lot of boys that have been released by Premier League clubs, they come here straight away. They come down here first and they try and get in here first because they know, it's the pathway. Parents see that pathway. They don't listen to them. All they want to know is that their boy's going to make it to being on that pitch. If they can see that, and then they meet you and you sell your club right, and we do sell it right, we look after the boys here, and we'll get them. And we do, at youth level, I have to say that the staff that I've got, it's a shame I come every time, but we've got part-time staff, and every year they've stayed, and we've had consistency. We haven't chopped and changed every year. We've had consistency for these staff members have stayed. Took on board the philosophy that I wanted to bring to the football club in terms of youth, and I think we've got a fantastic backroom staff at youth level, a part-time that give up, you know, for very little money, they give up a lot of time and they work hard for me and for the football club, and I think that the work's paying off. I mean, you used to say Louis Carter was your first coach.
Yeah.
Louis Carter, and then Luke Hobbs.
It was Simon Cox, Stephen
So he's worked under a few coaches, but they've all had some kind of input in him. But I think we go around, and it's funny when we go and play other teams. It's the parents there for boys, you know, that coming to us. But if you're registered, we don't register. You can only come to us if you're not registered, or if they get released. So I think we've just got a really good name. We've got a good name. I know we've got a good name within the youth service for looking after the players. And it's how we release our players. A lot of clubs do de-releasing by that. We see every boy. It's only releasing point. We've got 100 boys. Last week, Mark, Bonner, Luke Hobbs see every single player that's signed at this football club to give them a yes or a no face to face. I think that's massively important. And the ones that we've said no to, we've actually gone on, we let boys go and actually help them find and sign for other clubs. We've let boys go from here. We've let a boy go this year called Adam, little centre midfielder. We let him go. We knew that the day we let him go he'd sign for another club. We know he's going to do that, and he signed for Blackpool. I think that shows how good we are, that we can let a boy now go from Southend United, that we think we've got a boy that's better than him at this moment in time, and he can still get a club like Blackpool. So boys that we're releasing are getting scholarships at clubs. We've had 2 or 3 this year that we've released and gone on and got scholarships. So it shows you even the boys that are going for us are good enough to get a scholarship. So it shows you how good we are as a club. It's the support of the football club has been brilliant. Like I said at the beginning, the support that you give financially and the way you back us as a trust. You know, I know Ron gets a lot of bad press. And I know in this room, I have to sit here and say, from a youth point of view, from a development point of view, the board of directors of this football club, Michael, Ron, Jeffrey King, Tara, to an extent, they support it so much. I'm surprised how much they're behind it. And it's one thing that, you know, I don't think he gets enough credit for at times. He's sitting here today because Ron sat down 5 years ago and took on board the philosophy, and I think he's now sitting there and he's playing. I'm not saying everything's perfect. I mean, I'd love more money. If I had a bigger budget, I still think if I had a bigger budget, I'd produce more players like him. I believe that. The more money I have, the better recruitment I can have, the better games program we can have, the more opportunity to get a player like Kane. But we've got what we've got, and we do the best with it.
So, what was the Liverpool experience like?
There's one shot on that was...
I'm not necessarily worried about the score, but... Yeah.
No, but it's quite funny because I said to Auntie, the only close-up they'd done of me and Luke, if you watched it on the telly, there was a close-up of me and Luke, and we're both laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said to him, and it mad, at one time, and that was 4-0. And Luke said to me that second, what are we going to do now? And excuse me language, I mean, we're going to get up, me and you are going to get on the bus and fuck off. And we both burst out laughing. It was the only time they put a camera on us. And when I watched it back, I thought, I can't believe it. We're missing ourselves laughing and we're falling down. To get to the 5th round, I said to him when we came in, to get to the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup for Southend United, that's an unbelievable achievement. To beat 2 academy teams, Derby and obviously what, 1-0 down against Coventry and come back, beat them was one thing, but to go to Derby, be 1-0 down back and come back and 3-1 to set up that tie, that was a fantastic achievement. And I mean that was the highlight for me, that game. And I knew going up to Liverpool, it was the best in Europe. Their youth teams worth millions. I mean, we were trying to work out just 3 of their players were something like 15 million quid.
Well, I think they were saying on the telly that one player, I think the bloke when he came on the sub, cost more than our annual budget.
Their annual budget, yeah.
And it was a sub.
Yeah, I mean that's a youth team.
And in fact he was the one who was trialling down here, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, he cost more than what we got for a budget. So when you put it in perspective, we went up there for the first, we nearly scored. I mean, we cleared it off the bloody line.
That was, that was a mistake, you see.
Yeah.
That's what went wrong.
Killed us. Because no sooner did that, we was all excited, and then we see the ball go over the top, and that boy just went see ya, and he was in the back, and then we just had a mad. We give them too much respect, and what do you say? 6-0 at half time. You know, we could have come out, and I could have just said, right, half time. I went in the dressing room and I said, look, we could go out there now, and I would take you go kick them all over the park. But what are we going to achieve? We ain't going to change. We'll keep playing the way we played. We've come up here, and this is what's got us here. I mean, we were talking about it before the game. I said to the players, how do you feel? We could have gone up there, done 2 banks of form, sat deep, tried to soak up the pressure, tried to nick it on a corner or something like that, and it wouldn't have been us.
Well, they didn't score, but nearly half hour in the second half, did they?
Yeah.
So,
We did all right.
Well, we were drawing the second half for a while.
Yeah. But I mean, he watched that tape. Now, he's a Spanish guy that takes him, and he 14 years at Barcelona, and he's got a lot of experience.
Well, 2 of them travelled in
Yeah,
the following day, and one made the bench, didn't he?
Yeah.
Connor, what's his name?
Yeah, he made the bench. And the other, the right back's just made his debut the weekend, and now staying in the team. So it shows the quality of that side.
Yeah.
He pulled me straight after the game, and he shook me hand and he said, you know, I watched 5 of your games. He had a DVDs done. He watched all 5 games, and he said, and after the 5th game, he said, I was told the scouts I want an individual Dos Santos player. He said, because I looked and I thought, God, this is a dangerous team. He said, and the way you boys play football, the way your club approaches it, this is a credit to you. And I said to him, yeah, it's nice you can say that, but you just won fucking 9-0. And he didn't understand the effing bit, but it was just 9-0. But it was nice that afterwards he came in the room and he was chatting, he sat and he had the boys as well. Unfortunate for him, he couldn't play.
No, that was going to be one of the questions. Did he regret missing it, having the ball? Was it better? Or did you prefer playing for the first team or Macclesfield playing after?
It was Wickham, wasn't it?
Was it Wickham? Was it?
The next day, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Oh, there you go, mate. All worthwhile, isn't it?
That's what I said to someone, you know, we lost 9-0 the night before, we travelled back, and I mean, what do? You beat 9-0, but you played at Anfield, and we, you know, the experience of being up there and walking out in that ground and sitting in that dressing room, and we went to set up in the morning, and I mean, he was destroyed. I mean, he wanted to play, and he couldn't, so he didn't even travel up, did he? We didn't sit down and travel. But that morning we were setting up, and they were doing a tour. They do like 50 tours or something a day. It's ridiculous the amount of people that come there. So I'm setting up, and they come in and they say, will you come next door? So we're next door. Ended up doing a bloody talk to all these supporters from Liverpool about how we got up there and things like that. And we spoke about Kane and not coming up. And I said, you know, tomorrow night he'll start. If he scores tomorrow night, then it's all worthwhile. And we come back down here. On a day he scores and plays. So at the end of the day, that's what it's about, getting the first team and playing for the first team. That's all I want. The more I can get on that pitch that are worthy of being up there, not just going on there because they're making up numbers. This season, a few boys, as someone said earlier, about getting in the team because of the way we are at the moment. I agree, some players might have had an opportunity in the first team that they would normally not get because of that situation. But I still think there's players that we've got that will more than hold their own and push their way through and go into the team justly rather than to make up an argument.
Yeah, what's the point I was trying to make? I think 1 or 2 got overlooked, didn't they, under the previous regime?
We did, yeah.
Where we were.
Because we were still trying to prove to the club. Yeah, we were still trying to prove to the club and everyone that we could produce players.
Yeah.
Because everyone looks, well, Southampton United, you've got West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, they're all round us. But we still attract good young players. We've got a group of under-8s. I know when you talk about under-8s, but they went and played, I think it was Tottenham the other day, and they won the game. Now, we don't go on about the winning, but we've got, and they come up and go, that one. And we've got, they're registered. Our 15s went and played, our 15s have played 2 Premiership clubs in the last 3 weeks. And both Premiership clubs rang us and said we're putting out our best under 15s. So if you want to top it up with a couple of 16s, feel free, because rightly, as a Premier League academy club, there's no good us taking our 15s up there and then spanking us 6-7-0. What they're going to get out of it? But me and Luke decided that we weren't going to do that.
One thing that frustrates me as a club, that over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had a great run in the FA Youth Cup. The reserves is pretty enjoyable down there, seeing some of them players come through. And as a club, we don't scream about it. It's free to get in.
Yeah.
And that's why we
don't.
I want to be funny, that's some of the reasons why we, on the way out and work, I don't have to pay, and I see some good quality young players coming through. But sometimes I look there, there's only about 150 people. And even when we had that good run in the youth club, and there were some tremendous games, I've got to say the goal from the lad in one of those games, the best goal we've seen out there this season, isn't it? The one top right hand,
bang,
dream the goal there. I mean, that was a terrific goal. The best goal on this pitch this season.
He's shown that, you know, Isham was a boy that got released.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but you got to produce. That was a fantastic strike. But I mean, Rob's seen Isham play, and most probably over the course of the season he hasn't done himself enough justice. But he'll have that goal for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you live on that.
He'll live on that one. God, he's lived on a TV appearance, didn't he? So he'll do all right goal.
Yeah.
Fabulous goal.
But yeah, but
Just going back to that Liverpool game, yeah, one thing when I was coming home from there, as I sat on the coach coming home, I'm thinking it would have been very easy when it was 9 goals behind to have seen people kicking lumps out, because they didn't showboat,
no,
and we didn't do what obviously sometimes you know sometimes it would have been very easy. Because one thing I noticed about what they did every time when the goalie got it, threw it out.
Yeah.
Nearly every time.
Yeah.
And he always put it, he must have been looking at the pitch, seeing basically which side of the pitch most players were on. He was giving it to the right fullback or the left fullback, obviously that one that played the other week. And everything was built from the goalie to throw it out. Very rarely did he kick it.
Yeah.
It was quite amazing, but it was a discipline. I think, you know, it's better anybody that's ever played in any game, you know, there's nothing worse. You're 9 goals behind and you're thinking, right, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to leave an imprint on this shit.
Yeah. We weren't going to do that. That's not my way. I won't have that. And when you watch that DVD, in the patches, and we must have watched, I've watched it about 9 times now.
9 times?
Just for luck. There's patches in there when you're watching it. We're holding our own.
Yeah.
And you see that we're holding our own, and if you take it, and then all of a sudden the goal comes and you think, oh, that's the 5th. And we're holding our own again. And it's a really weird game to watch, because if you was to put it on and say, watch 20 minutes of it, and then said to someone who never knew who was up, who's going to win that game? They would be able to say to you, oh, definitely then. You know, because at that point, there was times, patches in between the goals, where we just mentally, we just switched off at key times. I think they had 11 shots on goal, and 9 of them in, and he can't get near one of them, the keeper. We watched it over and over, the goalie says, Danny, we watched it, I think one maybe, the other 8, he can't get an answer. They are clinical finishing.
That quick as well.
And I asked him afterwards, and I went, that's the best finishing he's done since he's been there. So he was obviously saving out for us, wasn't he? Because he hit 5 perfect balls in that corner.
What's quite strange, the right-sided player was playing on the left,
Yeah.
the left-footed, right-footed was playing on the left-hand side. So I just wondered whether they'd done that due to watching us.
Yeah, I think he
You know,
did.
possibly.
He knew that Sittle Jay stopped Jay from spraying the ball around, and they got stuck into Jay a few times and stopped him, and they nullified Dwayne up top. They got tight to. They've done their own work.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows how much respect we're getting when Liverpool have got to do their own work on us, to the point that he done dossiers on us, and he watched us 5 times. They watched us at Boots and Laces, and it showed that you know, if a Premier League club like that is doing things like that to play against us, then we're doing something right.
Brian.
Ricky, can you finish what you were saying about you played 2 Premier?
Yeah, we played them with the 15s, and we just made a conscious decision not to put any 16s in. We thought we'd take the 2 15s down there. And the first one we went down and we won 5-0. And their staff were going absolutely bonkers because it shouldn't happen. And when they asked us the age group, we told them honestly, we said, no, these are under 15s, there's no. Which made it worse, and then we got a phone call the following day about Jack Bridge saying what would the price be for our midfield player, because he literally ran it. So we thought, right, we made another one ring up and said, look, do you want to come and play us? Because they obviously heard. That's what happens in football. And we've gone down there, done well, they must have some good 15s. I'm not frightened of playing them because I think we can keep our players now. So we went and played them, we beat them 5-0 as well. And they hung up about Jack Bridge as well. You know, this kid, and he played on Saturday, and another Premiership club come and watched him Saturday, and a few agents, and now he's the one that everyone's eyeing up. He's a young centre midfield player that we've had since he was about 13, maybe 12, 13. He's a very talented young 2-footed box to box. Have you seen Jack Bridge? Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. He offered him his scholarship, and he got the letter back with him. Now he's got all next year at school, so he'll be an under 16 next season. So we wouldn't have needed to offer him his scholarship until now. But we offered it early, and he could have sat on it, and his dad said, "No, we love it." Signed it straight away. Within a day, we got the letter back, and he accepted it. So, and he knew, we told him that there is other clubs that have been looking, because I believe in that honestly. It's one of the things I put up on the slide. So we said there's been some interest from a club wants you to go. He said no. He said no, he loves it. He wants to play out, enjoys his football here. He said, "What do you want to do?" And Jack went, "No, I'm staying here."
Is he local? Is he local?
He's, I think he's a Montfort boy, Jack.
Oh, so, yeah.
I think, 100%. But he comes in every day with a smile. When he comes down to training, he just loves his football. And if he keeps developing the way he is, then he's Kane might be pushed out of the way. He might need them. You've got 2.5 years, mate.
Right, I think probably about. Has anybody else got any other questions? So it's about time probably to wind it up. Bearing in mind Kane's only. Yeah, Steve.
Is there a lot of emphasis on the kids going to watch the first team?
Right. When we had the lodgings, the kids used to come on because of the Tuesday, not midweek games. We had the Tower Hotel, and the boys all lived there. They come to every game, and they come every Saturday to every home game if we were at home. Obviously, if we were in London. Yeah, when we was in London on an away game, I wouldn't expect them to come all the way back when they all, the majority of them living in and around the London area. But what's happened since we lost the lodgings, a lot of the boys travel in, so midweek, it's really difficult by the time the game ends for some of them to get their connections to get back. It's like a 2 hour, and then they're back in the morning for training. But if we're here on a Saturday and we play, then they'll come over and watch the game.
Is that just the
18s?
The 18s?
No, and the centres, yeah, we give, I think it's about 30 or 40 tickets a week put by, and it's for the centres to have. So if you want a ticket, you can have a ticket for free and they come along. I think it's about 30 or 40 tickets. Every home game is put by for them. So if they want to come, we never turn any of the boys down. If we've done all 30 and someone else, they'd get a ticket. It's really cool.
A couple of lads that are in central excellence, their season ticket holders, but they obviously can't get to games when it's training.
That's it, because they're training over there when we're playing. But I mean, I think it's massively important that they come and watch. And I also think it's great when you see some of the younger ones here, their season ticket holders. You know, their parents have got down that road as well. Some of the parents have actually become fans and they come to the games regardless. You know, even when boys move on and they're playing in the first team. I mean, there's Alex, right? Alex Woodyard is a great lad, Alex. He's on the bench for the first team on Friday night. They said, have the weekend off. His dad came and seen me. He said, you know what? He sat down all day and he's trying to work out trains and buses so he can come and watch the youth team play at Gillingham. So he was here sitting on the bench for the first team. He was trying to work out how he was going to get up in the morning, get across to Gillingham to watch the youth team play, him and his dad. And I said, don't bother, have the weekend off. You know, you've earned that, you've had a long season, take a break. But that's the commitment we've got because it's their club. That's the difference. Youth football, the youth policy is about them kids coming through with a philosophy of this club. And if they've got that philosophy, they'll take that onto that pitch. And if we've got more of them out there that want to pull a shot on for this club because they've been brought up for this club, it's got to be better for us. I can't see how it can't be. I can't see. I'm so passionate about youth. I can't see how he can't want to put a shot on when he's been here for 4 or 5 years. That he won't want to run his heart out of there. And I think in his performances, you know, I can't, you know, I shook his hand and I said to him, he doesn't realise how much of an effect he's had in terms of us, in terms of recruitment for this football club, the young players. not just his performance, what he does for us, but being a young product of the youth system. It's a massive, massive thing for us. So not only is he performing for the first team, but he's actually helping us recruit younger players. And he didn't even realise that himself until I told him, and then it sort of dawned on him. He's the flagship at the moment because he's out there.
Yeah.
So, I think we've got the next 5 years, I've got to sit down with them again and say, right, where are we going in the next 5 years? And hopefully we'll keep pushing and keep getting players and get the club back up the league. Back up where I think we know we belong. Because I know about you, but this league does my head in. I'm being honest, I think it shows you, and I'm not being disrespectful to any of our players, but when you can put a team together in the sort of space of time that we did, and at one point be 1 point off the playoffs, then you've got to look at the league and wonder where it's going, in my opinion, as a coach. I just think it's the games I watch out here. It's a tough league because it's a physical league, but I think the league's just the quicker we get out of this league, and as long as we all keep pulling together, I think it's about time the club start to all the crap. And I will say all the crap on all sides needs to be put to bed, and we need to start realising that if we don't all come together, we'll be stuck in this bloody league. And then players like him, at some point, will have to move. If we could start progressing up the leagues, imagine if we go League One Championship, why would he want to leave? I don't see why he'd want to leave. Because he's playing Football League One, I'm going again, he's winning things, move on again, going to Championship, why would he want to leave? And if we could do that, it's about time we did it. In my opinion. It's only my opinion. Some of you who support this club, it's not my club I support. I work for it and I'm passionate about it while I'm here and I work my arse off. But it's your club, some of you support this club a lot longer than I've been.
Who did you support?
Oh God, I should never. I'm a Chelsea fan. My dad was born, lived in Vauxhall, so we used to, 8 Vernon House, we used to come out of there and we used to go over Vauxhall Bridge, and Chelsea was down the side, and my dad just threw me over the turnstile.
When they were cracked?
Yeah, it was cracking, yeah. It was enjoyable though.
Much better, yeah.
So I enjoyed being there in the terracing as a kid, and I don't watch it now, and I've watched them a few times, and I'm bored out of my brains.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that Osgood era and all that?
Yeah.
I don't mind doing you a disservice.
Yeah, World Cup, and then when I used to go on my own, it was Kerry Dixon, Speedy, Johnny Bumstead.
Yeah, Speedy had an interesting appearance down here once, didn't he?
Always.
So I watched all them up at Fleck, Dave Besson. I went to a dinner with Dave Besson and he was standing there. I mean, he played in a game against Norwich and Dave Besson hit him 3 absolute hours. And Ian Portford, who's dead now, God rest him, he turned around and said he'd never play for Chelsea again. And then I went to a dinner with him and Ken Bates was standing there and he was there. He got the dessert and he dropped it and he said, look, fucking can't even think he's dessert. But no, it's like, so I used to go all the time. I was a massive, it was like now, I'd go to all the do's and meet with Paul Elliott. And Paul Elliott, who used to play for Chelsea, was the guy that rang me about Alex Woodrow. He rang me up and said, we've got this kid, I think it's worth a look. And he rang me and I said, I'd love to have him down, signed him within a week. So yeah, Chelsea's for my sins.
About yours, Kane?
And,
Really no.
Well, how'd
they get on Saturday?
What, from East London? What, from East London?
Yeah. I like West Ham as well, don't get me wrong, but...
God, that's even worse.
should have just stayed with that.
They're local though, isn't it? They're local, I've got to laugh with them.
Well, I think on that disappointing note,
You haven't got a secret affinity for Colchester,
I
have
think
you?
we're probably obviously like to thank Ricky and Kane for coming along tonight. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. And just to let you know, for those of you who've got nothing to do, if you don't work or whatever, the youths, the under 18s are at home on Wednesday to Colchester, 2 o'clock at Boots and Laces. And the following Wednesday they're also at home against Wickham, again at 2 o'clock at Boots and Laces. If you want to get a chance to get down and see them, that's their last 2 home games of the season. And obviously you'll be able to meet Ricky and the youth team, and obviously all of the first team at our Player of the Year Awards on the 3rd of May. So I think that about sums it up. Thanks everyone for coming. And again, thanks Ricky, thanks Kane, it's been great.
Can I just say, if we was to, I'm a great believer in the young kids, how would you feel about a night when we brought down maybe an under 12, an under 14 and an under 15 to maybe come and with their coach and maybe do something there from you get from a kid's perspective of what he's about, because they'll only be honest.
Brilliant idea.
And it might be a nice way for them and for Luke to bring them along and maybe tell you a little bit about what they do in terms of their centre and their training.
Yeah.
I won't come because I swear too much. I apologise for the swearing.
You set up at the beginning of next season.
I'll do that. I think
we'll get together and sort it out.
All right, brilliant.
Good.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.